as you can see in here, so we have so around 10 years experiences. But according to our experiences, of course, we have recognized that the very difficulties is still existent in the kind of service robot at home. The one of the our aim and our focusing point is the combination of the learning function and the interaction function. So these the very good learning function like a deep learning is existing, but even though the deep learning is powerful, but the robot needs some instruction as an initial data or sampling epoch. So this is the first one of our techniques to accelerate the deep learning and apply for the manipulation skill acquisition. Using the CNN, at first, if the robot observe a kind of manipulation skill, for example, grasping some object and hand over to user, extract some visual feature by CNN, then autoencoder can extract some good visual feature. And then another CNN can extract some correspondence between the visual feature and the manipulation skill like a joint angle. So this technique is very powerful. Then even though the robot sees very few number of samples, but robot can generalize some generation skill. But still, even though this kind of deep learning is powerful, but still robot needs the initial data. So robot has to ask to user, please tell me or demonstrate something skill. So I'd like to start the demo line. So let's look at this HSL. Then the HSL is start to learn how to manipulate the spoon. But unfortunately, this is the first time to deal with the spoon. So the robot needs some initial data. So using the end-to-end extraction of the both encoder, the robot can detect which part it should be grasped, but the robot cannot select the best part. Okay. So the robot has to ask somebody, but unfortunately, this space is Japanese side and midnight. So robot is now looking for some user around there, but unfortunately, robot cannot find anyone. So to this time, we use another kind of new techniques. The robot asks to user in cyberspace. This is the second part. Okay. Then let's switch to the next room. Please look at the next room. So please look at the cyberspace. This is our new another technique. So as you can see, this is Brazil daytime. Very number of active users is around the system. The virtual HSL is working by control from the real HSL. Then this virtual HSL is asking to the user how to manipulate the spoon. Then he is kind of one of the users who can communicate with the virtual HSL, and virtual HSL is asking this point or this point. One of the target of the learning is the grasping point.
Or this point.
Middle point or edge of the spoon, and he is now demonstrate which part should be grasped and how to hand over to user. So not this way, but that way. So even though the real HSL cannot communicate with the real user in Japanese side, but virtual robot can ask to user in another country in daytime. Then the skill is catched by the HSL.
I learned how to hand over.
The virtual HSL start to confirm the acquired skill by demonstrate. So this is the confirmation part. So as you can see in this simulator is based on Unity, one of the very famous platforms to develop the virtual reality system. But additionally, the virtual HSL is controlled by ROS, one of the another famous robot middleware. Actually, recently, so many robot simulators exist in like a gazebo, but this combination is not realized. Our new techniques to combine the ROS and the Unity can realize such a combination of the standard conventional robot simulator and the immersive virtual reality that the user can log into this kind of cyberspace. So the real manipulation and the demonstration will be transferred to the real HSL. So the virtual HSL send the skill to the real HSL. Then real HSL use the demonstrated skill in another country. Okay, then the skill is succeeded. Then handover is finished. So this is one of the usage of our system. This is a summarize our system, and even though the real HSR is alone, but connect to the cyber real system, then ask the user to receive so many skill, and skill is transferred. And additionally, this system is working as a multi-client system, so many users can log into the system at the same time. So, for example, deep learning requires so many number of data, for example, 1,000 or 10,000. But if that kind of crowdsourcing is realized by that cyberspace, so robot can ask to so many people at the same time. So robot is easy to get so many data at the same time. Okay. So this is an open software named Sigverse, and we will be providing that system in the system. So I'd like to show another final demonstration and another situation. So example, the HSR is want to grasp some bottles, but this is put on the highest point. So it is difficult to robot to realize that. So the robot asks again to the cyberspace, because this is one of the important functions to collaborate with human and robot. But in this case, the robot doesn't know how to ask. The expression is one of another important function, how to generate the sentence and how to explain what the situation is and what I want to ask. For example, in this case, the robot doesn't know how to ask, not the manipulation task. For example, the cabinet on the paper bottle in the cabinet, or is this function is better? Then in the simulator, the robot is try to generate the natural and friendly expression and try to evaluate whether my expression is simple or not, friendly or not. So using this cyberspace, if the user can achieve, for example, in this case, the grasping the target object and handle by the robot in short time, it means the expression is very natural and friendly. But the expression is very difficult and complex. For example, please take the bottle at the position x equals 0.5 and y equals 0.2, blah, blah, blah. That is not friendly. So the user is wondering and missed the way. So the robot is evaluating what kind of expression is the better, and the skill is transferred to the real HSR again. This is just a demonstration. So the evaluation environment is different, but the robot can correct so many experiences correspondency in the situation. For example, living room, kitchen room, and what kind of expression is better. So summarize our technology using this simulator. This is a cyberspace that can combine the learning, conventional robot control, and the interaction. So it will be very strong power to realize at-home simulation, because our at-home doesn't have simulation. It is because the difficulty is combination of the control, robot standard control, and the interaction. So that will be our future works. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We have 5 minutes for the presenter and 5 minutes of cleanup for the chat.
So you're transferring grasp knowledge from the simulator on the real robot. How accurate is that? Like how accurate can the HSR robot grasp the objects after that implementation?
Okay, so it depends on some detailed condition, and in this case, just grasping the spoon and hand over. So, for example, in this case, the required feature is, for example, relative position and direction from the hand. So, for example, starting from here and there, the accuracy is depends on the measurement, but the virtual reality accuracy of the measurement of the virtual reality is very accurate using some recent VR devices. So all depends on the accuracy on the HS outside. Basically, it is the same as the real.
Do you have a number there, like centimeter, millimeter?
No, millimeter is a little bit difficult, but kind of centimeters, like 1 cent or 2 cents, is available, I think.
I didn't get really, maybe because of the sound. How does the robot ask for help? By language, or is he showing pictures, or how does he describe the problem he's facing?
Hi, sorry, unfortunately, so very noisy. Then, in this demonstration, the robot asked by natural language, not showing the picture, because just using the natural language is very natural situation, not showing some picture. This is my target or something. So the robot now tried to express just using by natural language. Okay. Then, but in this virtual reality system, of course, the system can show actual picture, but the system doesn't use the picture because the ultimate aim is not using the picture, but just evaluate how the expression is better. For example, please take a paper bottle on the shelf or brown shelf or right side, left side. Using so many words should be evaluated. So in this time, not using the picture, just sending the voice and sentence. That is the target of the evaluation.
So actually one saw in the simulation that the human was approaching the spoon from another side than the robot. So sometimes I thought this object, perhaps it's the same grasping point, but for other objects, for example, it could also be then different grasping points that are selected depending on which side of the object I'm approaching. Are you also considering these kind of aspects?
Hi, grasping point. It also depends on some detailed application, but in this time, the target of the grasping point is just middle part or edge or just a metal point. So do not grasp the metal point, but just grasp the middle part. And another one is this way or this way. It's also another problem. But basically, it kind of depends on the design of the feature. What kind of visual feature, what kind of vector should be the target of the learning. So actually, in this time, that feature should be selected by human side as a first step. Okay.
So this is very nice. So what happens when next time the green spoon is there in front of the robot? Next time.
Next time.
Does it save anything? Does it learn anything from or is it always asking back the crowdsourcing?
Of course, if the robot can acquire enough number of samples and the learning is converged, the robot just try to grasp. But if the robot detects some failure, for example, the grasping is failed or a little bit visual feature is not so extracted clearly, the robot start to connect to the cyberspace again.
No, but I'm saying, if you would do it again, would it try? Did it save anything from the crowdsourcing or not? I'm just trying to understand if whatever was learned from going to this virtual robot, which was very nice, is now part of the robot knowledge, or did anything happen in the robot? Did it save anything? If I would ask you to bring back the robot and put back the green thing in front of it, would it do anything differently?
So do you mean that the green spoon and the different object is put on the...
No, the same object, the same green.
Okay, sorry.
You are lucky.
拍手をお願いいたします。続きまして